Hey, this is the Entertainment Advice Channel. What I want to talk about today is the topic of the problem with anti-war movies. So for this video, I'm going to explain in a simple and straightforward way the problem with anti-war movies in a way that anyone can understand it, even those who aren't familiar with the topic, okay? So now that I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of the problem of anti-war movies, it simply comes down to the fact of the matter. It's not really the movie itself, it's the fucking people who you watch it with, or the people who tend to be very pro anti-war movies, you know, like the people who tend to be the fan base of it, okay? And the reason why I say that is because these are the same type of people who try to tell you off for everything, and more specifically in this situation, you know, it can lead to situations that create arguments, and more specifically where you get told off, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, I'm going to keep it 100% real with you, okay? Even though a movie, even if it's supposed to have a message, you know, like a lot of movies, whether it's supposed to be a movie about gangs or about war, you know, or any particular issue, yes, when you watch movies, you know, to be quite blunt and honest with you, it's meant to sometimes have a message. Just like, why is it every gang movie, or nearly every gang movie for that matter, the main character ends up dying, or if he doesn't die, he ends up being really fucked over really badly because of the lifestyle he lived. Or for every war movie, something really tragic happens, like a good character, if not the main character, but a really good friend of his dies and stuff, you know, which I can understand, because obviously it's still meant to give you a message. But even despite that fact, the point of a movie is still mainly to be entertainment, okay? That is the point of a movie. It's just like when you give a kid medicine, if you give him medicine that tastes bad, he's not going to eat it, okay? But if you give him medicine that tastes good, you know, like you might give him maybe a certain particular, like maybe just say a particular type of walnut or something that might have medicinal purposes, or not, to sum it up, that tastes bitter, but you coat it in something that's sweet, he's more likely to eat it, okay? Even if it still has a bit of an aftertaste, he's still going to eat it because it's sweet, okay? That is the point of how you want to get a message across to people, okay? You want to have, even if it has a message that's important, you still want to have some degree of an entertainment factor, because it's more likely people are going to consume it. Because obviously if the people watch a movie and say, oh, that movie's fucking boring, you know, especially if it's a specific genre, then people are not going to come back and watch it again, okay? Which obviously as a result means that they're obviously not going to be willing to, of course, learn more messages and moral of the stories, for that matter, let alone, to sum it up, more lessons that they can apply to their own life, okay? That is honest truth. Movies are supposed to be entertainment, okay? And when you watch these anti-war movies, in all honesty, the problem I have with these fucking anti-war movies, you know, is that the way they depict the situation, which I don't know if I blame the director for it, because the point of the matter is whether you necessarily agree with their message or not, the point of it is to actually kind of educate people on why we shouldn't have war, you know, as often as we fucking do as a species. But, and I get that, don't get me wrong, I get that, but at the same time, the way they depict the movies themselves is problematic, because it encourages people to be very angry and bitter and unhappy, which relates to the main topic of this video, which is that encourages people to tell you off, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, when I watch a movie, okay, especially with the boys, like a group of people, to be honest with you, I want to have a good time. I want to, even if it's a bit sad of an ending, I still want to watch a movie that's fucking entertaining, okay? And as a whole, have a good time. Maybe talk about it afterwards at a restaurant, whatever. Have a good fucking time, okay? What I don't want to have is, I might give my opinion on this topic. Maybe I say, oh, why did that guy not do this? Why did that guy not do that? And then this random kid in the group I don't even like, but happens to be friends with one of the other people in the group that I myself like, takes that time to try to fucking tell me off for every goddamn thing, you know, I say about the movie, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, when I watch a movie or anything, I want to have a good time. Like I was saying before, I don't want to get in some huge argument and happen to lose it by some guy who's just going to accuse me of being a psycho, or tell me some stuff that's not how the world works that way, or try to make a personal attack against me, saying, oh wow, why do you only care about violence, you know, and stuff like, do you have any personality aside from just watching movies about war and stuff? And that's the problem I have with anti-war movies. Let alone movies that tend to have very deep messages, or movies that are critically acclaimed, that not many people watch, for that matter, you know, for and actually a really boring topic, you know, because I notice a lot of these type of movies tend to attract a lot of very negative, toxic people, which is kind of the reason why people do not watch these movies that are considered not very popular. Because sometimes you try to get into the movie and try to give your opinion and view, and then it's not a case of just trying to educate people because they know, okay, we clearly know you're not you're not like a cinephile, as they call them, so you're not too familiar with this type of movies and stuff, and try to explain to you in a simple, straightforward way, you know, for that matter, it just goes straight to an argument. You know, they try to tell you off like you're some bitch ass girl. Oh my god, I fucking hate those type of women in school. Like those women who, like, people always say, please don't say everything around them. You know, specifically if maybe you're new to a new school and as a result new to a new friend group, because they're kind of concerned that maybe you might have self-esteem problems, because she's known for just turning everything she hears into an argument, and she's really good at it, and she, you know, and stuff, and she can make people feel really bad about themselves for thinking the way that they do, which might not actually be a genuine reflection of who they are. Like those type of women, those, when it comes to watching movies with a lot of these types of people, you know, like these not critically acclaimed movies, specifically these anti-war movies, it attracts those people who like to tell you off for every fucking goddamn thing. And the thing is, if I'm gonna watch a movie, okay, and I have to like kind of watch what I have to say, because I know that after I watch the movie, I'm gonna have to take a risk that somebody's gonna try to tell me off, then maybe I just shouldn't watch that fucking movie. Especially if it's a person I just don't get along with, because he just has a way of just hearing what I'm saying and just putting his 2 cents into things, you know? And I just don't think that's a very good habit, because then you start maybe being more serious and being more, you know, politically correct, you know, sensitive or something, you know, with your emotion, with your beliefs and stuff, and not be your traditional self. And then you start hanging around other people and they say exactly the same thing you would have thought, and it's just not good for the mind, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, okay, when it comes to a movie, to put it bluntly, it's just simply entertainment, okay? Yes, it has a message, but it's supposed to be an enjoyable movie, okay? It's supposed to be enjoyable and still to give you something to learn from it, okay? Just like the analogy I gave about the kid who wouldn't eat a nut because it was bitter earlier in the video, so they coated it with something that was sweet, that tasted good, to make it more digestible to the kid, okay? Because if a kid thinks something tastes really nasty, he's not going to eat it no matter how much you tell him it's actually for his benefit. If it tastes really bad enough, at least for most kids, okay? So sometimes you want to kind of find ways, you know, to kind of make something that has a really bitter message more palatable to people, you know, which that nut-coated candy analogy is the same analogy I have for a movie, okay? But if you're just going to depict a movie in a very gory, depicting, depressing way, and people like eating like, you know, like their sandals and like rats and crying like every fucking 10 seconds and stuff, and looking extremely unhappy the whole time, and acting like babies and over dramatic acting, no one's a war, and this and that, specifically, of course, for World War I movies and stuff, then maybe, you know, in all honesty, if you're gonna depict a movie that way, to be quite honest with you, I just feel like, you know, in all honesty, it's just like you're just asking to get certain people to act up. You want certain people to act up in a different way where they just snap on you, you know? Because the thing is, at the end of the day, as long as you as an individual, okay, and I know most people know this, okay, you are, even if you talk about violence a lot because it's your favorite topic, the truth of the matter is there's a difference between reality and fiction, okay? If you like to talk about violence a lot, you know, like violence, like war and stuff, but it happens to be things related to fictional movies, let alone fictional based media, like we're talking about anime shows, like TV shows, movies, and all that type of stuff, and you're literally, you know, just gonna overhear what I'm saying and call me a psycho who only cares about violence and stuff, then it's a sign that you're not a very intelligent person, okay? And that's a problem I have with these anti-war movies. It just encourages people to just become bitter and whine and complain about every fucking thing. Because at the end of the day, if I'm gonna watch a fucking movie, I want to have a good time, okay? I want to learn something, have a discussion with people so they can learn more from my perspective and I can learn more from their perspective, okay? Not have that one stupid kid who just wants to tell everybody off, call you a psycho, accuse you of being someone that you're not, and it just wants to tell you off to the point that you pretty much just give up in life. Just like those stupid women I was referring to in school, which I refer to an educated bitch type. They're just as ignorant as all the other women, but they're more educated, so they're able to bully people better, like those type of people, okay? And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So in short, that's a problem I have with these movies, because I want to watch a movie to have a good time. If I'm going to watch it just to have an argument with somebody after it, then I just shouldn't watch that fucking movie. And that's the truth of the matter. So anyway, the lesson that there is to learn from this video is that movies are supposed to be entertainment. If it's not supposed to be entertaining, then maybe I just shouldn't watch it, especially if it's going to create problems with people. And that's what I have to talk about today, and that's a lesson that there is to learn. And simply put, I'm out. Bye.